Hello arcade gamers and welcome back to Biggg's Arcade. Today I wanted to discuss some Arcade1up news. We've had 2 cabinets released in the last week and we're about to have 2 more released at the end of October. So I wanted to give you my opinion on what I think about these cabinets. Also, we've got some news as far as online and competitive play as far as Mortal Kombat. This is some really exciting news. This has been one of their top sellers. It actually sells better than Street Fighter, so it's about time that it gets the same features and the same online experience. And I wanted to discuss all this with you today. So let's go ahead and get into it right after this. First up is the Street Fighter HS5 Deluxe arcade cabinet, which released last week through Spreewell. This was distributed through Target, Walmart, also Amazon during the Amazon Prime sale. It was $399, and that lasted for about a day or two when it initially went on sale. That has since gone up. It's now $499, and that will be its MSRP price, $500. And I want to start with a couple of negatives and then a couple of the positives I like about this cabinet. So I'll start with negatives, and that's going to be the game deck. So it's got a slight discoloration from the end of the game deck to the outer piece. Those 2 colors don't match exactly. And that is something that concerned me and kind of made me want to wait to see, is there going to be a more improved version or a perfect version where you can't notice any discoloration at all. Also, another thing that wanted me to wait or held me from wanting to buy this initially was going to be the gap between the outer piece and the end of the game deck. There is a small gap there where your hands and your wrist are going to sit, and I just felt like maybe over an hour or so of playing those beat 'em up games that may get uncomfortable. So I was hoping, and I think this will come, is an aftermarket custom deck protector outer piece that will cover that gap, because this was the very first arcade cabinet that Arcade1up did that did not have a deck protector. So this would have been something that they maybe thought of, but they did not do it this time because they're trying to save cost, or they think it's not needed. That they've heard and we've seen that they are promoting this as a rubless or a rub resistant paint that they're using that will not come off. So a deck protector is not needed. That we'll see if that actually happens. But this did not have that protector piece that would have been great for covering that gap. So I was hoping that maybe an aftermarket piece would become available in the future. So that gave me a couple of reasons there why I wanted to wait. But I did want to talk about some of the positives. Some of the things that I really like about the Street Fighter HS5 Deluxe is the dynamo design. I think they did a really good job of replicating the original that released in the late 80s, early 90s. Was very popular for Capcom games at that time. I think this matches perfectly with what they were wanting to go for, and that was done very well. Also, even better was the marquee. So I'm a customer of Joe Zabo's. I like his premium slip-on marquees. I think they look perfect, and they've actually done almost just as good of a job as Joe Zabo's this time around. It does have a reverse printed marquee with an even distribution of light throughout the entire marquee. I think it looks excellent with this one. And this is one that doesn't need to be upgraded. So I'm hoping they continue to do this in the future on their future releases. But let's talk next about the Big Buck Deluxe cabinet that released just in the last week or two, because there's a big promotion surrounding that cabinet that I wanted to discuss with you next. So for the very first time, Arcade1up is going to be a sponsor of the Big Buck Hunter Pro Championship. This happens every year in Chicago. It's put on by Raw Thrills, and it's a gathering of all the best Big Buck Hunter players throughout the entire country. They all come to compete to see who's number one. And Arcade1up, they want to take advantage and promote their new Big Buck Hunter Deluxe arcade cabinet that released earlier this month. And basically what they're going to be doing is they're going to be offering this cabinet as a grand prize to the number one winner. They're also going to be promoting it with the Junior League as well, with like a younger audience, offering it as a grand prize for that event as well. And in return, they're going to get to live stream from the event. So tune in on Friday because Arcade1up is going to be doing a live stream direct from the event in which they're going to promote the new Big Buck Hunter Deluxe cabinet as well as give us some other news. So this is a big partnership for them and Raw Thrills. I saw this coming. I initially thought, when we saw Fast and the Furious in the success of it, we would see a much stronger partnership between Arcade1up and Raw Thrills, and this is a result of that. So let's get in next to the Big Buck Hunter Pro Deluxe and what I think of the cabinet and the price. So the Big Buck Hunter Deluxe arcade cabinet, this is a new rehash, I guess you would say, just a newer, better, more improved version of the last one. Very similar to the last one in ways. It's got the same games list, got the same artwork, same marquee is not lit up. So there is a number of reasons why you wouldn't need to upgrade or purchase this one. A couple of reasons why you may want to get it is it does have a higher screen height. So if you're a tall person like me, the higher screen height is definitely going to be welcome. Also, it's the riserless design, so it doesn't have what some people think to be an ugly riser, or it's not streamlined all the way to the bottom with its artwork. This is going to give you that. It's part of the Deluxe line, which are all riserless designs. And then this one, I think, for the price at $5.99, is it worth it? If you were a previous customer of Big Buck, is the screen height and the no riser, is that enough to justify you going out to buy $5.99 this time? I don't really see that. I don't see the value in it at $600 right now. Maybe the price does come down. Hopefully around Black Friday, you can snag one of these at $500 or $400. I think that could be a real possibility. These are available at Best Buy, so they could always put them on sale anytime that they want. Also, there is another option out there for you. They do have a classic version, which is a much smaller design without the riser. That one comes in at $3.99, which is called the Big Buck World Classic, available at Walmart. That may be available with a custom riser, or Buy Stuff store may come out with their version of a custom riser, which would actually bring that cabinet up. So there are other options out there for you, whether you get the Deluxe or the Classic. Right now, I don't see the value, like I said, in really either of them. I think they're both, the screen is too small at 17 inches. I think with a Big Buck cabinet, it needs to have a big wide screen. I think in their future, what they should really focus on is doing like a pedestal design where you bring your own TV or you bring your own monitor, and that way we can get a large widescreen monitor to use with it. I think Big Buck, the game, really needs that in order to really get the full experience. But let's discuss now a couple of cabinets that yet haven't released that are going to be releasing here at the end of this month and what I think about those. So one other cabinet that is available now is the Atari 50th anniversary. So this is available direct through Atari.com for their 50th anniversary celebration that they're doing. They are going with the same artwork that they've done with those other products for the 50th anniversary. Not a big fan of that artwork. You may be, like this. It wasn't very appealing to me. The cabinet design wasn't bad. It does have that Asteroids cabinet design, which I think looks pretty good. It does have that new slanted game deck. You're getting all the controls and supposedly a better spinner with this one as well. One that when you turn it, it does turn for quite a bit longer on its own, making for a more enjoyable experience in those games that utilize that spinner control. It does still have the 17-inch screen. The marquee, I would say, looks decent. If you're a fan of Atari, you really like these games, I think at $4.99, it's not a bad deal. You are getting some 2600 games. You're actually getting a pretty good games list. A lot of games there for Atari 2600, as well as 14 other games that we saw in the last Atari cabinet. A lot of the favorites like Crystal Castles, Missile Command, Centipede are all included. This will also have live, so it'll have the online capability with leaderboards. And at $4.99, do I think it's worth it? It's really up to you. Do you like the look of it? And are you a fan of these games? I think it could be worth the price tag of $4.99. But you'll have to go to Atari.com to order this, only available directly through them, but you can order it and it's available now. So next, let's get into two arcade cabinets that yet haven't released, but are going to be releasing here in the next week or two. And let's start with Time Crisis. So this cabinet is finally releasing. The Time Crisis Deluxe is officially going to release here in the next week or two through Shop Hippo. It is an exclusive of $750 price tag. This comes in at very expensive, I think, with only a 17-inch screen and a lower screen height. How I complimented the Big Buck Deluxe on its higher screen height, Time Crisis is actually lower. Now, as far as the actual cabinet design, I think they did a decent job. It is pretty tall with the marquee. It's got a big box marquee up at the top. That looks pretty good. But as far as the actual functioning of the game you're playing, lower screen height, small 17-inch screen. The guns actually aren't even that great with this one. You know, there's no electrical power to them. So there is a function within the gun that does give you some kickback, but that is all driven by the pull of the trigger. So a lot of people we're noticing aren't liking that over long periods of playtime and actually are turning that function off, which you have the ability to do. So this has kind of been of a miss, I think, for Arcade1up. They initially wanted to sell these out in the first day or two. They're still available as of the making of this video. So I think the price tag was a little too high and the demand really wasn't there for this one. But we do have one other cabinet that is releasing towards the end of October in 2023 that I want to discuss, and that's going to be the NBA Jam 30th anniversary. So the NBA Jam has been done twice already with the original and then the XL Shaq Edition version. They're doing it again. This is called the 30th anniversary. And basically what this is the deluxe form factor without the riser. It does have the side panels of the original NBA Jam. However, the marquee is Tournament Edition. So if you like the Tournament Edition marquee, this is going to provide you with that out of the box. Also, it does have that slanted game deck that we saw on the NFL Blitz cabinet. So that is a nice addition. And this one also gives you light up buttons. So all comes in a price tag, I think pretty high at $650. But you can order this one now. It is available and for pre-order, and it is going to be releasing in the next week or two, but for the end of October. So if you're a fan of NBA Jam and you are wanting a different version of it in the deluxe form factor, this would be good for you. Otherwise, I would steer clear of this one. I think the price tag of $650 is way too much for what you're getting. Nice additions, but not quite worth the price tag of $649. But let's next get into some Arcade1up news that I wanted to finish this video off with, and that is related to online capability and one of their best fighting games, Mortal Kombat. So one thing that has been long asked for and has been neglected by Arcade1up is the Mortal Kombat cabinets. They had the Mortal Kombat 30th as well as the Deluxe MK2 and then their new MK2 Classic cabinet that all had online function and had the live capability. However, it did not get the same features as Street Fighter or Killer Instinct. It didn't get any spectate mode, lobbies, or any of the bugs worked out or fixed. This has been long asked for, and I think we're finally going to get that on Friday. With the addition of their championship series and seeing the success there of Street Fighter and Killer Instinct, I think they want to get Mortal Kombat involved as well. So I think they're going to be releasing an update for those cabinets that are online compatible. And it's going to provide the lobbies and the spectate mode as well as fixes to all the bugs that that game has and the ability to connect and play with others around the globe online. I think that's all coming here very soon. So if you're a fan of Mortal Kombat or you own those cabinets or you're planning on purchasing them, I think we've got some really big news from Arcade1up this coming Friday during their live stream, the Arcade1 Update. But that's going to wrap it up, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. We've got a few cabinets that are releasing already, and then two more at the end of this month, as well as the big Mortal Kombat news. So put down in the comments anything you'd like to share. I'll make sure to respond. hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to Biggie D's Arcade if you haven't already. Definitely hit that subscribe button, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Bye-bye.